who don't know, I have many faces I recognize from Badwater earlier today. But my name is Ranger Marissa. I am originally from Detroit, Michigan, but I've been working for the Park Service since 2015. I've moved around a lot from Yellowstone, Yosemite, Zion, Kenai Fjords, and Alaska this past summer. And this is actually my second winter here in Death Valley. So it's been a very wonderful winter. I'm glad the sun has decided to join us once again. I don't know if I know we have quite a few people from California, but I know if you're from Southern California or Arizona, it's been a weird winter for sure. I think it has pretty much for everybody actually. But it's been particularly weird here in Death Valley.
Southern California, it brought us a lot of butterflies.
Oh, you got a lot of, we actually have quite a few butterflies here as well.
Swarms of
No flowers.
They were just migrating flowers.
Yeah.
Migrating butterflies.
Yeah, I heard someone say something about flowers. Yeah, so unfortunately, not a lot of flowers here in Death Valley. So we did get quite a bit of rain recently, but unfortunately, that is too late for us to actually get wildflowers. We need that rain in the fall time, mostly October. So unfortunately, it just came a little bit too late. But we do have some beautiful things actually blooming out here on the dunes that we're going to check out today. So all right, we are going to go start exploring the dunes. So if you'd like to follow me, and I'll wait for everybody to get to a point before I start talking. So come on.
Let me know if you think you'd like to cut out of the group.
He's over there.
If you would like to at any point, please, by all means.
No, no.
You help yourself. I may not follow. Where's the best place to see the night sky? If it's out at Zabunski or something, or Dante's, and we can head out there and look at the stars after dinner or before dinner or whatever. But we've never, as far as I can think, we've never done a ranger tour other than like the little kids exhibits here and there. So I kind of want to check it out, see what we learn, see what we. See if it's worth doing in other parks as well. You know what I mean?
She's going to be focusing
You were providing shade for me. Thank you very much. I was like, oh, please. Awesome. All right. Well, can everybody hear me too? By the way, if I talk this loud, is that good? Okay. Oh, perfect. Everybody can hear me, even those who don't want to. All right. So we're here at our first stop on the dunes. Now, I would like you to raise your hand if it's your first time here in Death Valley. Wow! Wow, that's crazy! Welcome! That's awesome. Actually, I told you I worked here last winter. That was my first time here in Death Valley. So I am also fairly new to the desert in general. Now, did anything surprise you about Death Valley? I heard some giggling.
There's life.
There's life in Death Valley. Yes, there is. It is not full of death. Yes. Only one person died to get the name Death Valley.
We went to Darwin Falls, and that's like just a breath of fresh air and kind of this arid.
A waterfall in the desert. Yes, not something you expect. Absolutely. Anything else surprising about Death Valley?
How quiet it was.
Ooh, how quiet it was. I like that. It's a massive park. It's about 3.4 million acres. And one of the things I love most about this park is there is always a place that you can find solitude. I think sometimes in the national parks it feels like it can be hard to find some of that solitude, but that is not a problem here in Death Valley, definitely. Yes?
How clear the night sky is.
Ooh, how clear the night sky is. If anybody is around tonight, we actually have an astronomy program with Ranger Jason at 8 o'clock at Harmony Borax. It's going to be a fantastic night for stargazing. He'll have a telescope out, he'll do a tour of the night sky. You can appreciate the night sky whether you go to the astronomy program or you just hang out here at the dunes. It's absolutely amazing. If you've never seen the Milky Way, tonight is a great chance to do it. So great, these are all great answers. Now, did the landscape look exactly how you thought it would? I see people shaking their heads. What looked different about the landscape?
The mountains.
The mountains. Yes.
The sand.
The sand?
Yeah.
You weren't expecting sand.
No, do not.
Oh,
Do not.
really? Because I'm from Detroit, and I think when I pictured a desert, I pictured the quintessential rolling sand dunes desert. Did anybody else envision that? I'm glad you didn't. Are you from a desert area?
No, from San Diego.
Oh, so no.
It's a desert too.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is there are so many different types of desert. Is anyone here from a desert area? What desert are you from? What desert area?
Sonoran Desert, Arizona.
Sonoran Desert. How does the Sonoran Desert compare to Death Valley Desert?
There's actually a lot of similarities, but I haven't found a saguaro cactus.
Yes. No, we have have you seen a cactus at all?
No. The little jumping cactus.
There is a few, but not as many as you would think, right? Being in the desert. So it is a very different landscape than many other deserts. Ooh, and the sun is starting to go behind the mountains, so we're gonna start getting that really pretty glow. So here at Death Valley, we have a couple of different dune systems. And here we're standing at Mesquite Flat Sand Dunes. And I always thought of sand dunes when I thought of the desert, but comes to find out, it's really rare to have sand dunes, so you apparently already knew that. But only 20% of all landscapes in the world are desert, and 2% of that 20% have sand dunes. So it is not very common to have sand dunes, and that's because you have to have three things to have sand dunes. The first one is the material. So I want everybody to put their hands in the sand, let it run through your fingers. This sand actually feels a lot different to me than a lot of other sand. It's very soft sand. So this sand consists of quartz as well as feldspar. And that feldspar is part of what makes it really, really soft. But where this comes from is actually our mountains, right on the other side of this big creosote bush. So the Cottonwood Mountains run from north to south, and we see these alluvial fans spilling out of the canyons. Now, heavier stuff, bigger boulders stay near the mouth of the canyon, but as you go down the alluvial fan, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. So then we get really, really small things, really fine sediment, which is sand. And then we need wind. So it actually only takes about a 10-mile-per-hour wind, which is very common here in Death Valley, to actually pick sand up. But it doesn't actually blow across the landscape normally. What happens is it picks up one little sand grain, and that one little sand grain hits the sand and kind of makes more sand pop up. And then all those little sand grains